I'd like to read to you a story I read to the full-day students every year at this time, and it's called The Velveteen Rabbit. It has very few pictures. It is a first chapter book. There once was a Velveteen Rabbit, and in the beginning, he was really a splendid thing. He was fat and bunchy, as a rabbit should be, and his coat was spotted brown and white, and he had real thread whiskers, and his ears were lined with pink satin. On Christmas morning, when he sat wedged in the top of the boy's stocking with a sprig of holly between his paws, the effect was charming. There were other things in the stockings, nuts, oranges, a toy engine, a chocolate almonds, a clockwork mouse, but the rabbit was quite the best of them all. For at least 2 hours the boy loved him. And then the aunts and uncles came to dinner, and there was a great rustling of tissue paper and unwrapping of parcels, and the excitement of looking at all of the new presents, and the Velveteen Rabbit was forgotten. For a long time he lived in the toy cupboard on the nursery floor, and no one thought very much of him. He was naturally shy, and being only made of velveteen, some of the more expensive toys quite snubbed him. The mechanical toys were very superior and looked down upon everyone else. They were full of modern ideas and pretended they were real. The model boat, who had lived through 2 seasons and lost his paint, caught the tone from them and never missed an opportunity of referring to his rigging in technical terms. The rabbit could not be claimed to be a model of anything, for he didn't know that real rabbits existed. He thought they were all stuffed with sawdust like himself, and he understood that sawdust was quite out of date and should never be mentioned in the modern circles. Even Timothy, the jointed wooden line, who was made by disabled soldiers, should have had broader views, put on airs, and pretended he was connected with the government. Between them all, the poor little rabbit was made to feel very insignificant and commonplace. The only person who was kind to him at all was the Skin Horse. The Skin Horse had lived longer in the nursery than any others. He was so old that his brown coat was bald in patches and showed the seams underneath, and most of his hair of his tail had been pulled out to string for bead necklaces. He was wise, for he had seen a long succession of mechanical toys arrive to boast and swagger, and then, by and by, break their mainsprings and pass away. And he knew that they were only toys and never turned into anything else. For nursery magic was very strange and wonderful, and only those playthings that were old and wise and experienced, like the Skin Horse, understood about it. "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day, when they lay side by side near the nursery fender, before Nana had came to tidy the room. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you and stick out and a stick-out handle?" "Real isn't how you're made," said the horse. "It's the thing that happens to you when a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you. Then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the horse, for he was always very truthful. "When you are real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up, or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the Skin Horse. It takes a long time, and that is why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily and have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes have popped out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly. except for those people who don't understand. I suppose you are real, said the rabbit. And then he wished he had not said it, for he thought the skin horse might be sensitive, but the skin horse only smiled. And we'll take up our story there tomorrow. There was, hidden in our book, a couple of pictures. Here is the Velveteen Rabbit on Christmas in the stocking. And here's the skin horse and the Velveteen Rabbit in the nursery talking. The name of tomorrow's chapter is The Skin Horse Tells His Story. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.